Don't think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala went to sleep after the Prophet passed on. We know this is not the case. This is false Christianity that believes that God went to the corner of the universe and did nothing. We are Muslim. Subhanallah. Let me give you some examples of what I have seen happening. Just this April, I went back to Gaza for the first time as a Muslim, alhamdulillah, and the first time in 3 years. I met a family in Bayt Hanun. Bayt Hanun used to be a village on the edge of Gaza. Why am I telling you this? Because it will show you what Iman is. And we all need to feed ourselves and understand Iman and the meaning of Alhamdulillah. I went to visit a family in a terrible situation. 17 children, 2 women and 1 husband in the equivalent of a garage with no facilities and nothing. They're coming because they know I cry when I speak about this. Alhamdulillah. The children had no shoes. It was Maghrib time. There was no light, no electricity, no fuel, no running water, nothing. But the mother, Iman, was kind to me and she said, let me show you my children. She showed me her 6-year-old son. She showed me his leg. It has white phosphorus burns on it. She called over to her 16-year-old son. He pulled up his trouser leg. An Israeli bullet was in his shin. A sniper had shot him, collecting stones to sell. This was the only money the family was going to have, stones to sell. 2 of the little girls no longer speak. They just rock backwards and forwards. They have shell shock. Kept on coming. I went into a back room to pray Maghrib. When I put my head to the ground, I started to cry. And I cried so hard and so fast that I remembered Yaqub. And I thought, yes, you can go blind from crying. I understand now, because I thought the tears would never stop. The mother, Iman, came into me. And she looked at me and said, why are you crying? Are you okay? I said, I'm not okay. I said, I hate this for you. I hate that Israel will keep hurting your children. I hate that you have to live in poverty. I hate that the world does nothing to help you, and I hate that I can't help you. I hate this situation. And this mother said to me, don't cry for us. We are so happy. Alhamdulillah. Because we have Allah. And Allah loves us. And Allah has told us that if we are patient and steadfast, He will give us Jannah. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, she said. Brothers and sisters, 2 hours after that, I was taken to meet a young man. His name is Muhammad Azur. Look it up. His story is on YouTube. Muhammad Azur lives in central Gaza. And I went and sat with him, a handsome young man in a good environment with a walking stick. He told me his story. In 2009, a missile had hit his uncle's house when he was 21 years old. Muhammad Azur woke from a coma 4 days later in a hospital in Cairo. His mother was crying at the end of his bed. He said, Mum, why are you crying? I'm awake. And she said, Habibi, you have no legs. Habibi, my son, they took your legs. Muhammad Azur, who was 21, said, Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, because look, Allah has left me 2 hands. Alhamdulillah, because He has left me 2 eyes. Look at the wonders of Allah when so many in Gaza are blind and so many children have lost their hands. Brothers and sisters, this is our faith. This is the true meaning of gratitude. So I want today to remind us of gratitude, remind us of the meaning of Alhamdulillah, remind us to stand together in times of adversity and to fear Allah and not to fear Firaun. Because these hardships aren't just in Gaza. These hardships are in Manchester, these hardships are in London, these hardships are in Birmingham. How many of us here Hands up. Know of a brother who's been put into Belmarsh, or somebody who's served some time for false accusations against them? Okay. Maybe you don't need to raise your hands, but you should be aware of these cases. Because the best amongst us, some of the very good brothers, are being taken and thrown into prison. Do you know why? For giving dawah. Not for terrorism, for bringing people to Islam. And what does the community do? Do we say, that brother, I've known him 20 years, he's now in Belmarsh, he's a good brother, I'm going to make some food for the family? Or do we say, don't go round to the family, they're being watched by the authorities? Subhanallah. We allowed ourselves to be divided by the Quraysh. We allow ourselves to be put under fear by the kufr, by bad laws. Please look to your faith. We must unite for the good in all of us and the good in our community. Now, my daughter wants me to, she's desperate for me to say this. When I came to Islam, after 5 or 6 years of having very strong promptings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all praise for him, I said to my daughters, I'm thinking of coming to Islam. What do you think? And these two said, we have some questions to ask you. And question number 1 they asked me was this: when you are Muslim, will you still be our mummy? I said, yeah, of course I'll still be your mummy. In fact, I'll be a better mummy. Question number 2 was, when you are Muslim, will you still drink alcohol? I said, when I'm Muslim, I'll never drink alcohol again. And these two said, hooray. Question number 3 was, when you're Muslim, will you still show your chest in public? I said, sorry? What are you saying? They said, Mum, when you go out, you always show your chest, even to our teachers. And we find it very embarrassing. We want you to stop it. I said, when I'm Muslim, I will always be modestly dressed from head to toe every time I leave the house. And these two said, we love Islam. Alhamdulillah, the purity of children. So much knowledge, so much awareness. I want to just end now with a quick reminder of dawah. The brother earlier said, dawah is us, we are dawah, it's you and me together. Let's look at Birmingham. They call it a super diverse city, which means a lot of Muslims. It's another way of putting it, by the way. Super diverse, lot of Muslims. Is your area the cleanest area in the UK? Why? Why? We can laugh at this, but it's our children dropping litter on those roads and disrespecting Allah. It's our children running along the streets and bumping into ladies if they're not Muslim and being disrespectful. You know, in the time of Al-Andalusia, when the Muslims were in Europe, the Christians and the Jews flooded to Al-Andalusia because it was the most decent, beautiful, enlightened place to be. If we want to look at dawah, we need to look at our cities. And we need to look at our homes, and we need to look to our children. So all praises for Allah. All mistakes are my own. Please forgive me for all the mistakes I have made. Thank you very much. Jazakallah khair. Come on.